Good morning. I'm Susan Chambers, and we are so glad to have you all here today as we continue to celebrate achievement. Last night, our honorees shared insights with student leaders, and tonight we will formally recognize our citation recipients at a dinner. Jules Achievement Day tradition began in 1944. We have since honored 400 leaders, great thinkers, innovators, and doers who are a true credit to Jules' high standard of learning, as well as a reflection of our caring faculty who set them on a path for success. I would like the William Jewell College faculty to stand and be recognized for inspiring students to achieve their highest potential. We're privileged to have a number of past Achievement Day honorees in attendance this morning. These are individuals whose lives have provided inspiration for our students and for so many in our community. Will all previous Citation for Achievement honorees please stand so that we may celebrate you? I also wish to recognize our Board of Trustees who are committed to ensuring our students have the opportunities and resources they need to be successful. They are remarkable individuals, and Jewell is certainly a better place because of their leadership. Would our trustees in attendance today please stand and be recognized? Now, Dr. Daniel Jasper, Vice President of Academic Affairs, will introduce some of our exemplary students.
Today, we recognize not only our alumni honorees for distinguished achievement, but also undergraduates who have excelled. Students ranked in the top 10% of their class and who have completed at least 60 credit hours at William Jewell qualify for induction into Phi Epsilon Honor Society. Will the members of Phi Epsilon please stand? Congratulations. We're proud of your hard work and commitment, and we know great things await.
Good morning. My name is Bill Gautreaux, and I'm pleased to be joining you this morning as chair of the William Jewell College Board of Trustee and a proud alumna. I'll save the date for later. When I look around the room today, I just feel an enormous sense of gratitude for a number of things, but especially the achievers that will be honored today, because they epitomize the reason that we exist as an institution. And for our students that are here with us today, I assure you that with this faculty and this campus, your horizons will be altered forever, and you will be the next set of achievers. These achievers that you'll see today are role models for you, and all of it is the virtuous cycle that makes this institution what it is and the world what it will be. So it's going to be my pleasure today to initiate the celebration of the achievements of these distinguished honorees. Our first honoree is Katie Lawson. She'll be presented by Dr. Janine Hastings. Presenting Mandy Levings, our next honoree is Dr. Kelly Scuddy. Presenting Darren Prenger will be Eric Blair. And last but not least, honoree Anthony Shop will be presented by Dr. Gary Armstrong. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Janine Hastings, Professor of Education and proud class of 1992. Standing in honor of Dr. Lawson today are her husband, Greg Lawson, stand with her, that would be great. Her son, Cameron, and if we'll hold our applause, there's a lot of people who are here to support her. So her son, Cameron, and his friend, Ashley. Her brother and sister-in-law and Jewel alumni, Scott and Kristen Martin. Her father-in-law and mother-in-law, Bruce and Diana Lawson. Friends, Brian and Joanne Kramer. Colleagues from North Kansas City School District, Dr. Daniels and Superintendent, and Dr. Sutton, Deputy Superintendent, and other friends and colleagues from the North Kansas City School District. Please stand with her. Also in supporting Katie today are those representing her varied interests and activities while she was here at Jewel. So I'll ask you to stand when I complete this list. Members of the women's volleyball team, members of the women's basketball team, Alpha Gamma Delta sorority, education majors, class of 1999, and Department of Education faculty, as well as other faculty who taught Katie. If you would all stand with her. Thank you. Katie Martin Lawson stands before us today as an educator who thrives in times of change and transition. She is willing to take risks and use her resources and people around her to make change when change is needed, especially changes that create equitable learning environments for all people. I am honored to introduce Dr. Katie Martin Lawson today and briefly share how she shapes teaching and learning in our community. Katie served Liberty Public Schools and North Kansas City Schools for over 25 years in many roles, including teacher, parent educator, assistant principal, and other administrative roles. She currently serves as Executive Director of Special Programs for the North Kansas City School District, where she facilitated the opening of their early education program that was named 2022 Program of the Year by Future Builders Foundation. She also helped open the district's innovative Future Ready Lab and the new Education Center for Adults. In her time with her education majors this week, as we talked with her, we learned that Katie thrives when the opportunity arises in a school district to make an impact, make a difference. So for example, the North Kansas City Schools under her leadership was able to open this early education center. But what we learned was it was once just a strip mall. And she created an early education center that feels more like a vibrant children's museum with color, play, imagination, and energy. At the center, there's over 1,100 students, mostly at risk or with special needs. And so she is setting the foundation for their education journey. Her newest special project, the Future Ready Lab, which she and another Jewel alumni, Cammie Neff, designed for all fifth grade students in North Kansas City schools. The Future Ready Lab allows students to design, get this, and program several animatronics very similar to those you all see in theme parks in this lab. They work in teams to creatively create lively and engaging animatronic shows that demonstrate their learning of a concept, a topic, or a theme. So if we were to go see these robots, they would be teaching us what the students program them to do. Students engage in a variety of STEAM activities to make this happen, from programming one of the 5 robots that has 10 independently controlled motors. They write scripts, voice acting, light, sound, set design, costumes, props, and even makeup. The students are able to use 3D printers, sewing machines, and even laser engravers. 5th grade, they're only 10. With this unique project-based learning, students discover their interests, their talents, their passions, all while learning these valuable skills. When describing the Future Ready Lab, Katie mentioned that this is the type of project that just screams Jewel. The problem solving, the collaboration, and the integration she learned at Jewel helped her imagine this environment for students. What I find interesting about this example and other stories we learned this week is this is how Katie started her career. One of our alumni and trustees let me know that you were this kind of innovator very early in your classroom. Today it's animatronics, but what I learned is 25 years ago, your first classroom had a tree house in it that made sure that students had somewhere safe and fun to read, and you and your dad built that together. Her unique style of leadership and service and creative thinking has earned her numerous honors, including being named Assistant Principal of the Year of the Northwest Region by Missouri Association of Elementary School Principals. She has been an active community servant through organizations such as Mid-America Regional Council, Northland Early Education Council, Liberty United Methodist Church, Resurrection Liberty, Boy Scouts, and here at her alma mater, where she received academic All-American honors. She holds a master's degree and a doctorate in education leadership and policy analysis and several training certificates. What the students at Jewel have learned this week and will take away from their time with Dr. Lawson: know your core values and find places where people will help you carry out those core values. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of students of all ages.
Wow, that sounds like I've done a lot. And first of all, thank you, Dr. Hastings. One thing I want to make very clear is that everything that she spoke about was only because of the power of team. And so I'm excited to share some of those thoughts with you today. It truly is an honor to stand before you today. And I want to begin with just a simple and sincere thank you. Thank you, President Susan, and our trustees. Thank you to the faculty, staff. Thank you, students, for giving of your time to be here with us today. And thank you for my colleagues as well as my family who are also able to join us. The kindness shown this week truly is what makes Jewel special. It's a great day to be a Cardinal. To be recognized on Achievement Day in a place that has shaped so much of who I am is deeply humbling. I believe with all my heart, no one achieves anything alone. I know I'm standing here not because of anything that I did by myself, but because of people who have believed in me, who have challenged me, who have supported me, and who have walked beside me every step of the way. So thank you for being here today. Jewel isn't just a school. To me, Jewel is a community. And for me, Jewel has been a community for me for as long as I can remember. My mom worked here for over 30 years, and so I walked this quad long before I ever sat in a classroom. My brother, Scott, and his wife, Kristen, are both Jewel grads. I met my husband, Greg, here. I found my calling as an educator. Like Dr. Hastings mentioned, I played volleyball, basketball. I was an Alpha Gam. And now as an alum, I carry this place with me in my heart and in my work. And that's why today's recognition doesn't feel like a celebration of personal achievement, but truly a celebration of the community that raised me and shaped me into who I am today. This is what I know. Success isn't about standing apart. It's about standing together. It's not just about rising, but it's about lifting. And the thing that lifts us is community. So in my life and work, I've seen it again and again that strong communities are built on 4 things: strong social connections, active engagement, access to opportunity, and that deep sense of belonging. These values were lived out for me here at Jewel, and they continue to guide how I live and work today. I'd like to start with the strong social connection. Thriving communities begin with relationships. People who know your name, who show up for you, and who cheer you on. At Jewel, I've found these kinds of connections in people like Brian and Joan Kramer. Their encouragement, their belief in me, and their steady presence remind me that we never walk alone. Being a part of a team builds those bonds too. I see lots of your team sitting together. Back in my day at Jewel, we would cram into 15-passenger vans, and we would have our brown bag lunches as we headed to the games. Or we were playing competitive Uno in the basement of Simple. It's those small shared moments that became the biggest memories that I carry with me today. Connections with professors like Dr. Ronnie Lou Garrison, Dr. Blakely, each of which continued throughout my career. These relationships give me strength in hard seasons and then joy in celebrations. They're not just part of my Jewel story, but they're part of my life story. And the beautiful thing is, none of it ends when you graduate. Strong connections. I've also learned that communities grow together when people get involved. As a student athlete, I learned early that showing up matters, whether it's to practice, to class, to leadership opportunities. That lesson stuck. Recently, I was invited to serve on the athletic task force. It's been humbling to work alongside people, alumni, and staff who are passionate, thoughtful, and willing to challenge each other for the good of Jewel. Engagement is more than just attendance. It's presence, it's voice, it's action. It's how we go from being served by a community to serve within it. Strong communities also open doors. So incredibly thankful to be part of an organization that opens doors for the students and the staff in which we serve. Jewel also did that for me in the most powerful of ways. The British Teaching Exchange Program lit a fire in me as an educator, a reminder that we should never place limits on what a student can do. That belief has truly shaped my career. Dr. Hastings mentioned the Future Ready Lab in North Kansas City's, and while I was a small part of that design, I want to give the credit to Cami Neth, who's also a Jewel alum. Her ability to connect with community partners and students has brought the vision of the Future Ready Lab to life. She's the reason the lab is what it is today. She's created a state-of-art experience where students are discovering new passions and have the opportunity to explore college and career pathways through an animatronic experience like no other in the Midwest. Jewel taught me real achievement isn't just about climbing your own ladder, but it's about building ladders for others. And most importantly, that sense of belonging. Belonging is what turns a place into a home. Jewel has been a home for me every stage of my life. A little girl visiting campus with my mom, a student figuring out who I was, a young professional finding my voice, and now as a community leader hoping to give back. And I believe that the greatest achievement any of us can be a part of is helping others feel seen, valued, and like they belong. I am the product of people who saw something in me long before I saw it in myself. It's the true power of community. So today, as we celebrate Achievement Day, I don't accept this honor for what I've done. I accept it in deep gratitude for what this community has done for me, for the people who believed in me, for the opportunities I was given, and for the love and support and encouragement that surrounds me every step of the way. But most of all, I also accept it as a reminder that strong communities don't just happen. They are built through connections we form, the engagement we offer, and the opportunities we create, and the belonging we extend to others. So now it's our turn to keep building, to stay connected, to stay engaged, to open doors wide, not just for ourselves, but for the generations who will walk this campus after us. So I look forward to working together to keep building the kind of community that lifts others, believes in the dreams not yet dreamed, and makes sure that every generation that walks our quad knows that they are home. Thank you so much.
For the contributions and accomplishments in the field of education, William Jewell is honored to present Katie Lawson this citation of achievement.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Scuddy, and I'm honored to present Mandy Levings today. Special guests, if you'll please stand as I introduce you. Standing in honor of Mandy Levings today are her husband, Eric Levings, a Jewel alumnus, their daughters, Allie and Ava, Jewel classmates, Megan Mortarana, Andrea Sanders, Kinda Smith, and Emily Bornheimer. If I missed anybody, please stand as well. Her Jewel professors, Julie Day, Kim and Lois Ann Harris as well. And friend Robin Winokur. Also supporting Mandy today are those representing her varied interests and activities, including members of the Spirit and Cheer teams, Delta Zeta Sorority, work-study students, communication and public relations majors and faculty, and the Jewel class of 1999. Will our students, faculty, retirees, and guests who have been part of these groups please stand, show your support, and let's clap for Mandy. Thank you. You may be seated. Today, we are honored to recognize an exceptional alumna whose journey at Jewel was marked by joy, community, and personal growth. I had the opportunity to talk with Mandy about her time at Jewel, and she fondly recalls the joy of walking around the quad on graduation day, something many of you will do in a few weeks, the camaraderie of the dance team, and the satisfaction of delivering her senior recital speech. I'm looking over to Kim and Lois Ann over there. Jewel's nurturing environment allowed her to explore new paths, which she'll talk about more in a little bit, and change direction, ultimately shaping her into the remarkable leader that she is today. When asked what advice she would give to her 18-year-old self starting at Jewel, she emphasized the importance of taking full advantage of the community, enjoying all that the school has to offer, finding new friends, and as one of her professors told her, if you make a mistake, admit it quickly, learn from it, and use it to become a better person. Our distinguished alumna is the Senior Vice President and Senior Partner at Fleischman Hillard, a leading marketing and public relations agency. Recently named Global Client Lead for PepsiCo, she has spearheaded large-scale initiatives for brands such as Gatorade, Quaker, and Captain Crunch. Her expertise extends to influencer strategies, celebrity integration, and sponsorships. She's led a number of successful campaigns involving some names you might know from our Kansas City's own Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Eric Stone Street, as well as many others. There's too many accolades to spend time reading, and there are numerous other things she has done. She's got a wide resume that has many accomplishments. But one of the things when we talked that she told me that she appreciated most about Jewel is that you couldn't phone it in. You had to show up and engage. She said that she learned the importance of working hard, and it is evident that this has served her very well in her distinguished career. So for accomplishments and contributions in the fields of communication, marketing, and management, William Jewell College is honored to present Mandy Levings the Citation for Achievement. We'll bring you the citation.
Thank you so much, Kelly Scuddy and William Jewell and the Board of Trustees, and especially Andrea Malone and Reagan Rockenfield, who put this whole thing together, which has been extraordinary. My path to Jewell was a little bit different than most. My senior year in high school, when I decided that I wanted to go to William Jewell, my parents said, well, you could go to MU like your brothers and your dad, and we will pay the way and we can pay for it. If you decide you're going to go to William Jewell, then you're going to have to put some skin in the game and some money. And so I knew going into Jewell that I was going to have an extensive amount of debt coming out of it, but I would not change anything for the world. But I convinced them, alas, that Jewell was the place for me because of the extraordinary nursing program that they had at Jewell, and that there was no better nursing program around, and that there was no other place I should be to pursue that career path. Then the spring of my senior year, I came to Jewell to meet with the volleyball coach to talk about playing volleyball here at Jewell. And as I was meeting with the volleyball coach, back then the offices at the top of the Mabee Center had glass walls. And as she was speaking, I was kind of looking down over the glass wall, watching the dance team practice down below, and decided a couple weeks later that maybe volleyball wasn't the path that I wanted to take, and ended up trying out for the dance team and making the dance team. So this is going somewhere with the change and windy path that awaits sometimes. But when I came to Jewell as a freshman, I went full force into the nursing major, and somewhere about the middle of my first semester, I left in the middle of Dr. Lang's chemistry class in tears and sat out on the steps of the library crying and thinking, oh God, this is bad. I don't think I can do this. And someone who is now a friend today, who I didn't know at all then, was sitting down the way, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I just dropped my major. My parents are going to kill me. I have no idea what I want to do." And she said, "Why don't you just go major in communications? Because until you figure out what you want to do, it's just a good path that you can really do anything with." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." So I went to the business office and I met with the communications advisor, and I changed my major that day to communications. And that was Julie Day, that became my advisor and one of my dear friends today, and who I would do the work study program with through the remainder of my time at Jewel. But it just goes to show that best laid plans don't always turn out the way that you think that they will. And your path will wind, but I cannot think of a better path for myself than to have been a communications major here at William Jewell. The second thing is, I was in communications and I thought, I don't know exactly what I want to do with this yet, but I know I'm loving it. I know I love the classes. I love the professors, Lois Ann and Kim and Julie and Gina Lane, and the whole department were just incredible, incredible mentors to me. But I sat in chapel one day on a Thursday, and Elizabeth T. Solberg was getting a citation or a honorary degree, I believe it was at the time. And she was the founder of the Fleischman Hillard Kansas City office back in 1977. And as she was explaining her path at Fleischman Hillard, I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want to do with my career. That's exactly what I want to pursue. So that next summer, I applied for an internship and I did not get it. And that next summer, I applied for an internship at Fleischman Hillard, and I did not get it. And then that next summer, I applied for an internship at a hospital in the PR department. And it was a great experience. But my supervisor there left there during the spring of my junior year to go work at Fleischman Hillard. And she called and said, "You have to come intern at Fleischman Hillard this summer." And I said, "Well, I would love to do that." So I interned at Fleischman Hillard the summer before my senior year. And then I graduated in May of 99, got married in June of 99, started at Fleischman Hillard in July of 99. And all of those things remain to be true today. So the path will lead you in different directions that you may not have ever imagined. A couple of things that stick with me in terms of pieces of advice that I've been given that have served me well in my personal and professional career are: one, that you are going to make a lot of mistakes in your professional and your personal life. And the best advice that I've ever been given is that if you have to eat crow, eat it while it's still warm, because there is nothing worse than sitting on something and pondering it and letting it fester and letting it take up mental space and causing anxiety. Just rip that Band-Aid off. Learning is painful. Do it in the moment and move on. Just like success is never final, failure is also not fatal. And you can clean up on aisle 5, as I always say, and move on. And you've learned and you won't do it again. Next is always do more than the bare minimum. I think that a lot of times, like Kelly was saying, at Jewel, you're not allowed to phone it in, nor are you in the professional world or your personal life. If you always set out to just do what is asked of you and do the bare minimum, you're never going to get any farther than that. So always just do a little bit more than what is asked of you. Always look to do the most that you can possibly do in any situation for another person, for a friend, for your community, for your professional organization, because it means something to do the most that you possibly can and make the most of every action that you take, every word that you speak. And then lastly, I would just say that it's really important to be your authentic self. And my daughter often says that she appreciates that I am unapologetically me. And that takes a lot of form sometimes. I'm often told, and always have been, "You're too loud, you talk too fast, you interrupt, you get a little fiery." I do believe there is a time and a place for a well-timed F-bomb. Don't always speak like a lady. And I know that to be true of myself, and I am unapologetically me. And I have found always that you need to be bold, you need to be yourself, and you're not always going to be everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay because you have your people and you have your path, and your own authentic way will lead that path. And I also believe that we each have individual superpowers and they're all different from one another. And so embrace those and use them to the best of your ability. I just want to end by thanking my family, my husband, Eric, my daughters, Allie and Ava. They are the three best decisions I've made in my life by far. And I would never be where I am today without them. And I would like to thank the whole Jewel community for this recognition and honor. I'm very thankful to be here. I would just advise each of you students to go forward with faith in God and hard work. Deo Physis Labora. Thank you.
Well, I officially get to say good afternoon. My name is Eric Blair. I'm the Vice President for Marketing Enrollment here at Jewel, and I have the honor of introducing Darren Pringer. Special guests standing in honor of Darren today are his wife Shannon and his parents Kevin and Jeanette Pringer. Also standing in support for Darren today are those representing his varied interests and activities, including members of the football team, Kappa Alpha Order, business majors and faculty, and the class of 2003. Please join me in celebrating Darren. Thank you. Darren Pringer is an accomplished business executive with over 20 years experience leading growth-oriented organizations in the industries of technology and talent services. He has demonstrated superior performance in his career through a personal philosophy of servant leadership, consultative problem solving, critical thinking, and value fulfillment in fast-paced, hyper-competitive markets. For me, it's a special privilege to be part of full circle moments like this. Introducing Darren is an honor and a privilege for me because I shared the hill with him as a student and a teammate on the football team. Darren and I spent some time this week catching up earlier over coffee. And in our conversation, it became clear that his time spent as a part of the football team and in Greek life not only helped him navigate what is, as you've heard from some of our other honorees, the humbling academic experience that is Jewel, and especially in the first year, but that the connections he built through his KA brothers helped to root him deeply to Jewel. I'm excited to hear more from Darren, especially for the students here today, because I think many of you will see how the thread of our collective Jewel experiences binds us together. And that may or may not include an experience of Coach Ambrosen getting after us for not putting in full effort. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. I expected a bigger chuckle out of that, but that's okay. Darren studied computer information systems and business at Jewel as a 3-year starter for Cardinal football, for which he was voted captain in his senior year. He's a proud member of the Kappa Alpha Order and served as the chapter's treasurer during his time on the Hill. Early in his career, Darren worked in information technology at Sprint, H&R Block, and the Cerner Corporation. In 2005, he joined Echo Select, a Kansas City-based firm that provides clients information technology, talent, and process solutions. Following several leadership roles, he was named president and COO in 2022 with responsibility for day-to-day operations, financial health, and key growth initiatives. Echo Select has been regionally and nationally recognized for its growth services, innovation, and entrepreneurial excellence. He holds an executive MBA from Rutgers University, is a crucial conversation certified trainer, and a graduate of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce Centurion's Leadership Program. He's been recognized as the Nonprofit Connect Emerging Philanthropist of the Year, a Kansas City Business Journal Next Gen Leader, and Ingram's Magazine 40 Under 40 honoree. For accomplishments and contributions in the fields of information technology, management, and strategic development, and just being an all-around awesome dude, William Jewell College is honored to present Darren Pringer this citation for achievement.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the gracious introduction. It has been great catching up with you this week. And good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the warm welcome. I can't tell you how humbled and honored I am to be receiving such a prestigious recognition by my beloved alma mater. I want to thank the leadership at the school, our president, Susan Chambers, our board of trustees, the faculty, and of course, all the student body for your generosity and your hospitality. The last couple of days have just been, they've been breathtaking. I also want to thank my fellow honorees. It's been great getting to know you and sharing this honor with each of you, and my sincere congratulations for the well-deserved honor. I do want to take a couple of minutes and express my gratitude to some specific people whose support made this honor possible. Now, I don't have the same entourage that some of my fellow honorees have, but I do want to thank my friends first. When I think about my time here at Jewell, the relationships are what really made the experience the fulfilling part of my life that it was. My classmates, my fraternity brothers, my teammates, there would have been an emptiness had those relationships not existed. It was my time on the Hill, in the locker room, in the classroom, at the house that really has shaped a significant part of my professional journey as well as my personal development. And they're relationships that still bring so much genuine joy to my life, and I know will endure for years to come. I want to thank my family, specifically my parents, mom and dad. Thank you for allowing me to become a Cardinal. My time at Jewell was enhanced and enriched because of the solid foundation you created for me throughout my childhood, a foundation based on hard work, merit, teamwork, humility, and especially love. These are principles that allowed me to endure the challenges, celebrate the successes, and appreciate the journey that was my experience as a Cardinal, an experience that continues to shape the life that I live to this very day. Thank you. I love you. And I want to thank my wife. So my wife and I didn't know each other when I went to Jewell. I have to admit, I think that worked to my benefit. I'm not sure if she would have thought the same of me if she had witnessed me at any number of KA parties. Wasn't always on my best behavior. But in all seriousness, when I think about this recognition and it being signified with achievement, I want you to know that none of it would be possible without you. Your commitment to our partnership in life and your steady, unconditional support have made everything we've accomplished possible. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you. I love you. And then I want to thank my children. They're in school today, so they couldn't be here. But as all parents in the audience know, they're my world. So much of what I learned from my time at Jewell, I've tried to incorporate in how I raise them as a father. They give my life true purpose, and they are my inspiration. So when I was first notified of this honor a couple of months ago, I started to reflect back on my time at Jewell, and that's been a really incredible process. I relived so many fond memories, countless moments that had such an impact on my life. But what was interesting was I kept coming back to a real simple theme, although it's had an incredibly profound impact on me. And I think it summarizes why being a Cardinal has been so important in my life. And that theme, that message is simply this: William Jewell is a place that teaches you the value of doing hard things. And it starts on day one. It starts in the classroom. And I know there's several of you here, so anyone who's taken the responsible self with Dr. Walters, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I see him sitting right in front of me, so I just want you to know that's a compliment, Dr. Walters. Okay. It wasn't just responsible self. Statistics, business law, cost accounting, all part of my greatest hits list when I think about all the classes that I struggled with and challenged me beyond anything I experienced academically. But the application was broad. Hard things existed on the playing field as well. Anyone else go from being an accomplished student athlete in high school and then play exactly 0 minutes your freshman year on your athletic team? Coach Fabian can verify that if anyone wants to check that statistic for me. So, so there's obviously the playing field, and then there's the social component. So many of us walk on Jules campus having few, if any, pre-existing relationships. You have to make friends and engage socially and basically start over from ground zero. These are all moments in time that are part of your Jewel experience. And believe me when I tell you, it's hard. But that's the beauty of the Hill. That's how Jewel reveals its greatness. Jewel teaches you there's no such thing as an easy button. This college challenges you to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Whether it's staying up all night studying for an exam, waking up at 5 a.m. for off-season workouts, or introducing yourself to complete strangers in your first class with hopes of budding friendships, you're required to do hard things. That being said, no matter how hard it gets, Jewel encourages you to keep showing up. Keep showing up even when you feel overwhelmed in a particular class. Keep showing up even when the best you can do is second string practice reps on the scout team. There are no promises of a 4.0 GPA, no promises of playing time, no promises of lifelong friendships. But if you embrace the struggle, accept the challenges, and meet them head on, you get something so much more powerful. You gain character, you build resilience, you develop grit. You learn that with each setback, each moment of self-doubt, to keep showing up. Because even in failure, you're growing with each appearance, each essay submitted, each project completed, each off-season workout. And eventually that commitment, that discipline, that confrontation of hard things become tremendous breakthroughs. Maybe you ace your cost accounting exam. Maybe you break the starting lineup on the football team. Maybe you gain a group of lifelong brothers. Or maybe it's just a self-realization of how much you've grown and how much better you are because you committed to being a Cardinal. I want to thank my alma mater for teaching me character, for providing me the experiences and teaching me the values that have brought me fulfillment beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you, William Jewell, for the blessing and the privilege of being a Cardinal.
Special guests, if you will stand as I introduce you, standing in honor of Anthony Shop this morning are his husband, Thomas Sanchez, his parents, Frank and Karen De Leon, his friend and Jewel alumni, Carrie Vanderford Sanders, special mentors and friends, Professor Emeriti Dr. Lois Ann Harris and Dr. Kim Harris. And also standing with Anthony representing his varied interests and activities are members of Hilltop Monitor, Lambda Chi Alpha, political science and international relations majors, Cardinal hosts, Student Senate, faculty award recipients, Harry Truman Scholars, Alexander Donovan and Bill Summers Award recipients, members of Unity and Gift, and the class of 2005. Thank you. Would you join me in thanking them? And you know these things. When Tom Hanks and Elizabeth Dole wanted to start the Hidden Heroes campaign, an organization to support military caregivers and wounded veterans, they reached out to this morning's honoree, Jewel alum Anthony Shop. None of us who knew him at Jewel would be surprised. Well, except for all of those who thought by now Anthony Shop would be in Congress. After all, Anthony, like his fellow Jewel alum Carrie Vanderford Sanders here today, won the Truman Scholar Award, the most prestigious fellowship in the United States to fund graduate school preparation for public service. From the moment we all met Anthony, we knew his singular quality, a drive to connect people to big conversations, to encourage understanding, build bridges across difference, and keep us aiming for a better world. Now that I think about it, maybe that's why Anthony is not in Congress. Anthony was part of the freshman class who came to the Hill just as Jewel was named by Time magazine the Liberal Arts College of the Year. Colin Powell was on the cover. And a couple of weeks later, America was attacked on 9/11 and we went to war. One outstanding Jewel alum of Asian Indian heritage was warned by his parents, do not leave campus except in the presence of your white American friends. Anthony was a freshman, but on 9/12, he was involved in leading in all kinds of conversations about how does Jewel and how does America stay true to its best commitments even when we go to war. He was a fearless editor of the Hilltop Monitor. Then he helped create and lead a multi-week symposium that brought young Arab leaders to Jewel a couple years after we invaded Iraq on the theme of how could the West and the Arab world finally have peace. By the way, one of those visitors was a prince in one of the ruling families in the UAE, and another UAE visitor wanted to get rid of all the royals. It was an amazing symposium. And just a couple of years ago, Anthony called me and he said he had a friend. Anthony always has a friend who was the former deputy prime minister of Slovakia, and he had to get out of politics because of the populist takeover there. He was trying to figure out how to combat disinformation, and could he come to Jewel for a few days to meet Jewel students and talk about it? And then Anthony wrote a check to make it happen. Anthony was fearless in the classroom, always prepared, always ready to grapple with wicked hard problems and be fair to views he did not agree with, frequently mine. He and I engaged passionately on his senior thesis on the Bush administration and going to war in Iraq. At the end of his 30-page research paper with a whole page of commentary, I wrote, I disagree with every one of your major arguments, but this was brilliantly done. Anthony Shop believes in the power of people-centered digital strategies to create our better world. He and his husband co-founded Social Driver in 2011. The marketing and communications firm has been recognized as the Webflow Agency of the Year, the U.S. Department of Commerce Marketing and Communications Agency of the Year, and the LGBT-owned Business of the Year. He chairs the National Digital Roundtable, the premier convener of digital innovators, leaders, and policy shapers. If anybody saves us from AI's worst, it's going to be Anthony. He has moderated all kinds of roundtable discussions in the West Wing of the White House, the British Embassy, and LinkedIn's corporate office. And certainly worth mentioning because of today's news. Anthony serves on the board of advisors for WAMU, the premier NPR station in Washington, D.C., which I listen to all the time. Anthony has earned his MBA from the George Washington University School of Business, where he also teaches as an adjunct lecturer. Anthony told students last night that he came to Jewel thinking maybe he'd become a professional diplomat. Well, he didn't, or at least he hasn't yet. But Anthony got so many people listening in the direction of understanding, negotiating our differences while finding our common purposes, and fighting to keep people at the center of social media. For all of these accomplishments and contributions to the field of digital marketing, communications, innovation, and the public good, William Jewell College is honored to present to Anthony F. Shop this citation for achievement.
Wow. Well, it's truly an honor to be back on the Hill. And I just want to start by saying I'm really inspired by my fellow honorees, what Katie said about community and teamwork, what Mandy said about persistence, responsibility, and the well-timed F-bomb. I really liked that. and what Darren said about the value of hard work. It's just amazing to be here. Here at Jewel, I learned the power of pairing critical thinking with meaningful action. And that combination shaped the person I am today. After dinner last night with 4 very impressive students, Rithika, Dami, Ian, and Owen, I saw that spirit still going strong. And I even got to visit my old bedroom in the Lambda Chi house, which has the exact same furniture, it's just rearranged. I want to say thank you to President Chambers, the trustees, faculty, the team in advancement that put this together. Dr. Armstrong, thank you for such a generous introduction. I'll never forget meeting you as a prospective student, and you challenged me from day one, pushing me to work harder, to spend a summer in DC, to apply for the Truman Scholarship, and dream bigger. Thank you for being an outstanding advisor, but especially for believing in me. I'm fortunate to have some important people here with me today. My parents, Frank and Karen. I feel immensely proud and lucky to be your son. My friends Carrie Vanderford Sanders, doctors Lois Ann and Kim Harris, they all traveled long distances to be here, and I can't imagine my journey without any of you. Most importantly, my husband Thomas Sanchez is here. He's my partner in life and in business. Thomas, any success or achievement I've had over the last 17 years has been either with you or because of you. When I said I wanted to move to DC, you left a great job at Cerner and you uprooted your life to be with me. A few years later, when you said, let's start a business together, I replied, are you crazy? But you believed in me and in us. And 15 years later, we've built Social Driver into something that's beyond what I could have imagined. And then when everything seemed like it was going perfectly, we got some big news that I had cancer, and you helped me navigate the stress of that and get to the other side. Oh, and when you told me that when I told you I felt too young to be recognized on Achievement Day, you reminded me that when I enrolled at Jewel, none of these students were born yet. So when I was a college student, I never imagined being an entrepreneur or owning a digital communications firm. I'm not even sure those existed back then. I wrote for the student newspaper, which we printed. And shout out, by the way, to Hilltop Monitor staff. No, I dreamt of being a diplomat, like Dr. Armstrong said, or a journalist, or a nonprofit executive. But as I told the student leaders last night, even though I never officially had any of those titles, I've gotten to do so much of what I dreamed of doing, just not exactly like I imagined it. William Jewell challenged me to think critically, to ask the tough questions about the world we live in and the role we play in it. Dr. Armstrong didn't just want us to have opinions, he wanted us to defend them, refine them, and grow from that debate. Dr. Lois Ann Harris, advisor to the Hilltop Monitor, encouraged us to find our voice, but then use that voice on behalf of others. During a time when the campus was debating how welcoming it should be to LGBTQ students, I told Lois Ann I was thinking about leaving Jewel. I wasn't out yet, and I wasn't sure where I fit in. She said, you could leave, but what if you stayed and tried to make a difference? That question stuck with me my whole life. And watching some of the straight guys in my fraternity, Lambda Chi, speak up with courage for all students, well, that made me realize I did belong here. At Jewel, I came to understand that critical thinking must be matched with meaningful action. Show up as your authentic self. Step in where you're needed. Put your values to work in the real world. And we don't all share the exact same values. That's what makes life interesting. Now, it's not lost on me. This is a challenging time for the Jewel community. As I've reflected about my years on the Hill, one memory keeps coming to mind. On May 4th, 2003, the Sunday before final exams my sophomore year, William Jewell's campus was ravaged by a tornado. Some thought that the $10 million in damage would force the college to close. No lives were lost, thank goodness, but the devastation to our campus and our morale, it was indescribable. It would be easy to assume that what I remember most about those events is the destruction, the toppled clock tower, or the despair of students whose belongings had been ripped from their rooms and scattered across campus, or how happy we were that finals were canceled. Darren remembers that. But no, my most vivid memories are of how the community came together to rebuild and to recover. We all know Jules' motto, Deo Fisus Labora, trust in God and work. But it wasn't until that recovery that those Latin words came to life for me, because I saw community members praying with their hands and feet. The president of the college side by side with faculty, staff, students, alumni, cleaning up debris. Everyone stepping up, using their own gifts however they could. Now, I was the outgoing editor of the Hilltop Monitor, and we had just published our final issue of the year. We were done. But during the relief efforts, President David Salee called me. There were rumors that the storm would force Jewel to close for good. Dr. Salee asked if I could rally the remaining Monitor staff to create a special edition of the newspaper to document Jewel's recovery. But Dr. Salee, I said, the staff have all gone home and we don't even have electricity in Brown Hall. I know you'll figure it out, he said. And Lois Sands said, we will. Miraculously, the power was restored. Some staff returned, but alumni who had graduated and students who'd never even written for the paper joined us to produce what I now realize is a historical record of the incredible resilience of the William Jewell community. I recently dug out a copy of that special edition. Remember, we printed it on paper, and rereading it filled me with hope and with optimism. It reminded me of what this community is capable of. And I want to share an excerpt from 22 years ago. This week, we've learned that how a community operates under normal circumstances isn't the most important thing. Instead, it's how we react under pressure that matters. It's an enormous feat to plan graduation, but producing it when you have to change the venue last minute is astounding. Feeding a community on a daily basis is a tall order, but providing hungry volunteers meals with no electricity makes every bite taste even better. Melissa reminded me we had steaks grilled during that time, actually. People like that. Moving student possessions out of residence halls is trying, but doing so in an hour with a tarp over your head makes a hectic move-in day seem like a trial run. Bringing a college community together under a shared vision is incredible, but uniting a much greater community to rebuild our home, well, it's nothing less than a miracle. No storm, whether it be a recession, a controversy, or a tornado, can dampen the sense of community found here at Jewell. Rereading that article and returning to campus, it's reminded me just how incredible this community is. William Jewell has endured many trials over 150 plus years. The Civil War, the Great Depression, the Macarena. Yeah, and we didn't even dance on this campus back then. And even a literal tornado. But time and again, the resilience of this community has been nothing short of a miracle. So as I stand here, humbled, honored, and with so much still to learn, I'm enormously grateful that this community showed me what's possible when critical thinking is matched with meaningful action. That lesson is more important now than ever. And so whether you're a student or an alum, my hope is that you'll not only keep asking those tough questions, but that you'll step up, speak out, and use your voice to build the kind of community that you want to be part of. Deo Fisus Labora.
Honorees, could you please stand? Thank you for allowing us to know your stories, to tell your stories, to be lifted and inspired and reminded that William Jewell has seen a day or two, and it and we are the better for what we have gone through together. I've been thinking about the same words that you were repeating. I've been thinking about in and of community, and I've been thinking about the F-bomb quite a bit. But that failure is not fatal, and that failure actually leads us to a different outcome, and that we're better for what we've gone through together. and I may borrow your newspaper article because it is so profoundly relevant to this moment. But thank you for knowing your stories lifts us and inspires us and makes us so proud with you and for you for your achievement. Please stay standing. My favorite part of Achievement Day is when your communities, your people stand with you. And so would you join me in this moment as a people and as a community for these amazing honorees and celebrate them one more time really loudly, please?
Congratulations. You can be seated. You know, achievement goes a long way back at William Jewell. And I hope you heard in the stories today that their community, family supports achievement. There's a long-held William Jewell family, the Pillsbury family. And you know that name because it's on our music building and it's on our physics department. And that's a family that has supported achievement. The first gift I can trace back is 1914. I've been here a long time, but that's 111 years ago that Linda Roses, and Linda is here with us today, our emeritus trustee, her grandfather gave an important gift to start the printing press, the William Jewell Press here at William Jewell in 1914. And he gave, and that was Edwin Pillsbury, and then Fred Pillsbury, your father, also serves as a trustee and gave. Linda was a student here. She came back to serve as a trustee. And this is a family that continues to nourish and encourage us and create future achievers. And today, Linda is going to gift us with an incredible transformational gift so that we can continue to create achievers that go out and do meaningful things in the world as we've demonstrated today. So Bill and Susan, I'll have you come forward. And Linda, you can join them. I want to get a picture of this moment with this $2 million check. To recognize today's gift and the deep commitment and investment, multiple generations of this family, the college will formally name our newly created academic division of analytical sciences, the Pillsbury Division of Analytical Science. We'll do that formally at our opening convocation ceremony this fall in September, when all of the Pillsbury family can join us alongside Linda. Linda, thank you for this incredible gift. It means the world to us. There's another gift that Linda gave, and that was to restore the organ. I don't know if you know it, but we haven't heard that thing for 6 years. Thank you, Linda. This has been an interesting year and a learning year, a challenging year in many ways. We've been led by an achiever, an actual achiever, Susan Chambers, who's one of our achievers as interim president. And she's going to continue on at least through June. But I want to take this moment to just recognize that Susan is a very special leader with mad skills. And one of those is her idiolect, her dialect, her vocabulary, her ability to use words and phrases. And some of those I've written down because they've been meaningful. And I won't give you any context, but you might remember her speech at commencement. When she was at the commencement address, she said, "This is the wettest I've ever been with all my clothes on." Well, she arrived on campus last summer and she said, "Well, at least we didn't poop in our nest." She mentioned at one point unconscious incompetence. That baby keeps rolling out of bed. They are a little wiggy. It makes me so mad I could just spit. I'm a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Our ability to manage discretion would appear to be limited. Nutty, off the charts, but talented. And it kind of goes on, and I can share all of these with you at some point. Yesterday, she said to the cabinet, "It's better to be competent than to sing Kumbaya and go over the cliff together." And one of the new classics, "You have to lower the swamp to see who is swimming naked." But her most powerful words, and the one I kind of quake when she uses it on me, is buddy. If she calls you buddy, you have deeply disappointed her and you better buck up. Well, Susan, you've used these words and this language and this lexicon to help us reimagine. And tonight, our dinner celebrating our honorees is in a barn rather than a hotel. And so, Susan, you may need to reimagine yourself to be a president in a barn. So we have a little gift for you.
I know she'll want to keep wearing.
Thank you, Susan. Your leadership, it means the world to us. It's been incredible. And thank you for the gift that you've given us. As we close our convocation ceremony, Chaplain Melissa Dowling will lead us in the benediction. If you'll stand with her, and then we will sing the alma mater together before the recession.
Just a reminder to stay where you're seated until the recession has completed. Hear these words of benediction. O God, you have lavished on us gifts of life abundant. for the beauty of the earth and sky and sea, for our daily food and drink, our homes and families and our friends. We give thanks. For minds to think and hearts to love and hands to serve, for health and strength to work and leisure to rest and play. We give thanks. For the brave and courageous of our community, for those patient in suffering and faithful in adversity, for all valiant seekers after truth, liberty, and justice, we give thanks. For those whom much has been given and in turn choose to give freely, as we have been shown this day through the example of Linda Rose and the Pillsbury family, we give thanks. For those who have earned achievements that we celebrate today, we give thanks. For the opportunity we all have to live into our life's calling, we give thanks. May we all depart from this place inspired and renewed in spirit. Amen.